Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On That Note, the place where we speak a language we all understand, and that is music. Today, it's my honor to have royalty in our presence.
Who's here?
Yeah. You.
Oh, hey.
Member of one of the most iconic bands in Latin music, Selena y los Dinos. This amazing woman was responsible for holding the beat down. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
You know, drums and percussions, you know, she did her thing. And responsible for holding it down, her drumming prowess not only made those large crowds that they performed in front of the groove, but also, and most importantly, it gave the young lady who was center stage that rhythm she needed to deliver some of the most well-known songs known to mankind. Her voice and her presence was angelic. And by the way, that lead vocalist just so happens to be su hermanita llamada Selena.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You said it correctly.
Okay, beautiful. I just want to make sure, you know, I've been studying with Duolingo, so it's been helping out. If you don't know who that is, guys, then you should get out more, to be very honest. But let's give you a quick stat rundown. It's very short because there's a lot of stats. So I'm going to just do one. All right. Well, a couple. Known as the Queen of Tejano music, she is the most celebrated Mexican-American artist ever. Ever, right? Her one album, because she had a few, but this one album called Selena, is certified 6 times diamond. Now, for you kids that don't understand music industry jargon, that's 60 million records, actually 62 million records to be exact. And it is the highest selling Latin album of all time. After her sister's tragic passing, she opted to retire her drumsticks and focus on producing documentaries and movies that celebrate the life and music of her late sibling. She is a singer, producer, actor, wife, mother, grandmother, philanthropist, Sundance Award winner.
Thank you.
And I just met the woman and I feel her spirit. She has a beautiful spirit, very warm and very down home. I think we get along for a long time.
Thank you, Shawn. Wow.
And of course, big sister to the GOAT. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the beautiful Suzette Quintanilla.
Thank you. Shawn, I'm taking you with me whenever I show up anywhere, and I want that intro.
Let me tell you, in this show, you will always get your flowers.
Thank you. I appreciate
big
that.
on flowers, and I like flowers myself. Orchids are my favorite, and you're getting your bouquet.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for those beautiful, kind words.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, how's the puzzle going?
Oh my God, 25%. You saw that?
Yes, I did.
It's as we get older, we just want to try different things. I know it's not nothing major like jumping off a cliff and gliding or anything like that. But
that's an acquired
I've
taste.
always wanted to do a puzzle, and I just started it. I have it on the table, and the kids, the breakfast table, come by every once so often to look at it. Throw in a couple. Sometimes nothing happens. And then sometimes like 4 or 5 pieces can go in like that within a minute or two. And it's like, yes.
So estimated time of completion. Give me a roundabout.
Come back in 10.
10 hours,
years,
days?
10 years. 10 years. No, I don't know. I don't want to put a time frame on it. I just want to be able to just do it when I can and not put a time frame on it.
Okay.
Well, I'm old. Remember, it takes a minute to get the brain going. But yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for you because I suck at puzzles.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I always like to start off the show from the very beginning. Okay. Start from the very, very beginning. So I like to call this segment, we're going to go back, way back in the time.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go to about 1977. Right?
Okay.
I think you were 10.
Yes.
Little sis is about 6.
Yes.
Then you got big bro.
He's 14.
Okay, cool.
We're all 4 years apart.
Okay. So you wake up in the morning, wipe the coal out your eyes, and you're looking around to see where your family at. I want to know about the sights, the smells, but most importantly, the music. What was the music that you guys grew up listening to that created the phenomenon that is Selena y los Dinos?
Well, at that age, I didn't start playing drums until I was 12.
Okay.
At 10, I mean, when we grew up, I mean, we didn't grow up listening to Spanish music at
No?
all. None. I listened to stuff like, not at 10, but as I got older, music like Men at Work,
Okay.
Duran Duran, like Madonna, like Janet Jackson, like
80s
all
classics.
totally 80s classics.
Yeah.
And I didn't get introduced into Tejano music until we got into music. And then, because we originally started country and playing at a little country club, like, there locally. And there were older people. So my dad felt that starting and playing country music would be the easiest to kind of get into.
Yeah.
And just a lot of like old classic songs, slow songs, a lot of slow songs.
A lot of slow songs.
Yeah, a lot of slow songs.
Yeah. Now, you were the middle child. Did you ever have that middle child syndrome of, they say about middle children, like they're not the oldest, but they're not the youngest.
Yeah.
So they kind of feel like the oddball out or.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
I realize that's why we get along. I'm a middle child too.
Yeah, Selena.
That's why we're best friends.
Selena.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, Selena.
It's trauma bonding.
Yeah, Selena always got away with everything. I would get spanked if I did something like broke something or whatever. She would turn around and do it, and she would nothing. Like, it's okay. I'm like, what? That type of thing. And then Abe, of course, was the guy. So, he could get away with more things and do more things because, he was a guy.
Yeah.
And so growing up, and I was also the peacemaker. Everybody, the middle child, I think, always the peacemaker. Wants to make sure that everybody's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But I loved my childhood.
You enjoyed that role. It was okay.
I was okay with that. I mean, when you're 12, 14, 15, it's about playing outside. It's about, hanging out right after school. There was none of the pressure of how life is now with the younger generation now. But I think I had a normal childhood,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, having the family that you had, and from what I've gleaned and what I've researched, you guys seem very close knit.
Very close knit.
Yeah.
And my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
So very religious in that aspect. Always with the family. If we weren't with the family, always had other families over, and we'd hang out and stuff like that at the house. It was just, to me, it was normal.
Yeah.
It was nothing odd or anything like that.
Yeah. Just a normal family life. And
right. Dad worked at Dow Chemical.
Yeah.
Came home 5 o'clock. He wanted dinner on the table.
Yeah.
My mom would call us, that whole call outside where you hear,
hey, yeah, that's right.
Come in and wash your hands. My dad just was typical. He worked at Dow Chemical, so it was come in, wash his face, wash his hands. He wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And with us, and then as soon as he did, went straight to the TV and watched the news or whatever. And it's like, don't bother him.
Right.
He's zoning out right now.
Right. Yeah. Fathers, especially back then, needed that just alone time to just decompress and not think about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mom was the one that was, mom. She, if we needed anything, she was always the go-to.
She held it down.
Oh, heck
like mothers do. Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you started playing drums at 12. Why drums? Like, why not another instrument? Like, what drew you to playing drums?
Well, it's not that it drew me at all. I was forced into it, actually.
Okay.
So, so what happened, what started it was Abe, my dad wanted, of course, my dad loved music. He had a band before he became a father, got married to my mom. His love of music was always there. And he started teaching my brother the bass. And my brother was learning the bass. And around that time, he overheard Selena singing in the back. And he said his ear just went, what? And he knew automatically. And he called her over and he started hey, sing this. And she started singing and she was on point. on it. And he just was like, whoa. And so then he felt like, oh my God, this is like, I could start a band with my family. And this is, this is my greatest love is music. And so he just felt like this is perfect. So at the time, and this is where I come into play.
Yeah.
At the time, my mom's nephew was living, they sent him to hang out with us for the summer. And my dad had bought him drums because he was a drummer.
Okay.
He was going to hang out with us and stay with us and, live with us. And then his dad decided no. So his dad called him back to Arizona and there was a brand new drum set there. And so then who's the only one in the house that didn't have anything going on?
Right.
Me.
Right.
And I was like, no. I mean, literally, it was like a cat fight. Like, no, I'm not going to play drums. Girls don't play drums like in the movie. It was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I hated it for so many years. So many years. A lot of people don't even know this. I'm left-handed, but the drum set was right-handed. So I played right-handed.
That's crazy.
I know. And I was self-taught from my father a little bit, from my brother. My cousin Jesse, before he left, he kind of showed me, like he would just like, I kind of was watching him doing some things. And I just I really don't remember how I learned, but I just know it was a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And when I say a lot of practice back then was like 30, 40 minutes, but that seemed like forever. You already know
Absolutely.
when you're young and you have to work or
That's days.
Yes, it is. And especially from playing outside, you know what I mean? So that's basically how I learned.
Yeah.
And I was never learned from a professional drummer.
Right.
Just kind of picked it up on my own.
Just all organic.
Then I guess you say the rest is history. I mean, and it's kind of crazy, and I'll get into it later if you want to talk about it. But even up to the day, like when you bring something to a group, right? You always feel like it's not enough.
Yep.
I've always felt that. I mean, come on, man. My sister Selena, she was amazing. She had this natural ability just to command the stage, and naturally do what she did. You know, mine didn't come like that. And Abe as well. Abe was amazing at what he does. He, created our music and our style of our sound.
Right.
And my dad used to sit me, Abe, and Selena, and he would tell us, okay, so I want you to tell me what the kick drum is doing. And so everybody would be sitting there and he would play a little piece and we'd listen to it and everybody would be like, oh, it's doing this. And then I'm like, damn, she burned me. Like, and then Abe would do, like he'd play another song and he would, what is the guitar doing? And just he was trying to get us to start separating the instruments in a song.
Yeah.
And I don't know if most people want to try that. It's not as easy as it seems. You have to really tune in.
That's right.
I felt such like a loser because I could not get it.
Oh, yeah.
I was that one kid that could not, it didn't come natural to me.
Wow. But you just had to work a little harder.
I had to work a lot harder to get it. And when I did, I was like, hey, I can hear that. Oh my God, it's not you know what I mean? It's like, I just won the lotto.
At times, I still can't do it at times.
Yeah.
It's part of being a real musician.
Tuning your ear to
tuning your ear to hearing certain things. So you're not just, because what it did was you're not just a drummer now. You've become a musician in a sense where if you hear something off, you can tell them.
Oh.
Or that's not on, blah, 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 blah. You need to do it this way. And so your prowess grows.
Yeah. And it's crazy because now, oh my God, now so many years later, it's like riding a bike.
That's right.
It's like, oh my God, they're off.
That's right.
You can go, especially when you go hear like a band, right? You're like, oh my God, he's off. Or
absolutely.
If a singer is right underneath that note and they're not quite hitting the note, it's insane how you can pick up on that.
Yeah.
I pick up on that now, clearly, but back in the day, it didn't come as natural to me. And what I was going to share with you is that before she died, I felt like I was ready to, I guess I embraced it years ago being a drummer, and I wanted to perfect my craft, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let me hire a drummer and help me learn my roles faster and
Yes.
what I'm, because I use my whole forearm, and drummers are supposed
And
to
not
use
just
the
the
wrist,
wrist, right. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be able to learn, and also more importantly for me, why I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool to be able to read music.
Yeah.
And I wanted to understand it. Was I ever in a position where I needed to read music? No, but I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I was learning. I had been in it at least 2 to 3 months, and then she died.
Mm.
And then when she died, drumming meant nothing to me anymore. But it's so crazy how life, and I don't play anymore.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Like, do you ever just look at the drums and say, let me sit back down and kind of
when I'm drinking,
pitter-patter.
When I'm drinking, yeah, I want to take over whenever I hear a live band when I'm drinking.
Like some Step Brothers thing, right?
Yeah.
Drum set.
Yeah. I miss it, but I don't miss it.
Okay.
I don't see myself performing without her.
I understand.
That was whenever she died, I just knew in my heart that my life was going to change forever, not just without her, but for me. I didn't see myself performing with anybody else. I didn't see myself. Remember, I'm also not only the drummer, but I am a partner and I'm the owner of the band that we're in.
Yeah.
So I just didn't see myself taking orders from anybody else either.
Yeah.
Like, and changing things. I'd been with our family band since I was 12, and when she died, I was 26 going on 27.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't see that for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going to end up, and it's crazy where I ended up, how I became what I'm doing now and everything. But for Brother, it was different.
Yeah.
He created Cumbia Kings, became very successful with his band and still doing his thing. And
they're dope too, by the way.
Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah.
And but it's just kind of crazy how life is. But I do love music, and since she's died, in the last 30 years, I've played twice.
Wow.
And both with my brother's band.
I was about to say, I saw one in 2019. He brought you up. And
I thought I was going to lose my fingers there afterwards. The next day, I felt so sore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, with any consolation, you're an amazing drummer and an amazing musician and percussionist. I'm just saying, but
Thank you.
I do understand. I mean, considering the I guess the major loss, like it could.
It's traumatic.
It would make anyone do the same thing. So we understand.
Yeah.
Now, Selena, I read, was bullied in school.
Yes.
And
middle school.
Your daddy decided to take her out of school in 8th grade.
Yes.
What was that like? What was what for her? And did she have any friends that she grew up with? Like, because to take a young lady from school could be kind of traumatic, especially if she got friends there or whatever. Like, how did you help in that scenario?
I was like, come on, let's go. No. No, well, actually, we had moved from Lake Jackson because we lost everything basically when it kind of goes back. We lost our restaurant, like in the movie. We showcased that in the movie. And because my dad was tired of working at Dow Chemical, and he always thought, well, let's go ahead and open up a restaurant. And it was right when the oil went really bad in 1980. Lost the restaurant literally 6 months. It didn't even last a year. And we lost our house. We moved into an apartment. Mind you, nobody wanted to hire my dad. He was considered old. Things weren't great. So we ended up moving to Corpus Christi, and we moved in with my uncle and his family. That's when Selena was put into school there. So her middle school was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So around that time frame, we started performing and we started learning Tejano music and trying to get into making money that way to be able to feed basically our family. And because we started playing more, my dad had made arrangements with the school, and they understood that she sang and that we had a family band. And so she would come in. She would more than likely miss Mondays from working on the weekends. And so then when 8th grade came, we were not popular, but we were performing a lot more. And so my parents talked about it with her, and she said that she just felt that it was time to be pulled out of school. And so she was doing homeschooling through
Okay.
American school.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, was
In
it like
Chicago.
homeschool? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
From Chicago's American school.
I see.
They do online. So she would do her schoolwork, mail it, and send it in. And then they would
Wow.
send it back graded. And that's how she graduated.
This was before computers. And,
Yeah.
the convenience that we have now. Boy, thank God we had computers during COVID, because
Yeah.
my kid would have been dumb. So no, okay, I see. I
so
see.
that's how she ended up graduating.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I always wondering, like, okay, so Daddy took her out of school, but I know that she had to have been educated. But
It was home. She was homeschooled.
Got you. Okay, that's a very interesting dynamic, because I mean, bullying is a terrible thing. And
because they saw her on local TV.
Oh, okay.
They
So
were
they
like, "Oh, you're a singer. You think you're it."
they were being jerks. Yeah.
that whole
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah, kids can be so mean.
Yeah, they can.
But, they can be extremely sweet, but they can be the exact opposite, and they could be extremely, extremely mean. Now, what did? Just curious, what did? You kind of answered it, but was there any type of artist or music that Selena listened to in her private time, like during that, in growing up? Like, what did she listen to? Was the same things or?
Same thing. I mean, if you look at her early on, you see Paula Abdul,
Okay.
Janet Jackson was a big thing.
Sure.
Madonna.
Sure.
Those were the artists, the female artists back then that were like really doing their thing. And it was like, how could you not gravitate to that type of music?
Yeah.
And then once she got a little bit older, she started with, I don't know if you ever heard of Rocío Dúrcal. She's Spaniard.
Okay.
And you can kind of see a little bit of Selena's influence as she got older, of the gestures, when she does whenever Selena, her little hands like this. Rocío Dúrcal was known for that. And so, as an artist, you know how it is.
I sure do.
You watch somebody that you admire, and I think inadvertently, you take a little bit here and you take a little bit there, and you mold it into who you are as an artist, and it becomes part of you.
100%.
Yeah.
I understand that influence. Exactly. Like, for me personally, I've always had a soft voice. So the influences I had were more women. So I would listen to Whitney and Anita Baker.
Yeah, Whitney.
And
Anita. I loved Anita.
Yeah, like, so artists like that, I magnated to, because their sensibilities were like with my voice.
Right.
It wasn't very high, but it wasn't low, but it was more like an alto or something like that. And I would just kind of sing on those lines, and very soft, and it kind of lended itself, like when I met my guys, because you had a powerhouse, and then you had the guy that sang bass, and you had the guy that did a bunch of other stuff. So I guess you could say I was the middle child in that group. So I kind of found my little niche and did what I guess was influenced by.
Right. And it balances out
100%.
everything as a whole.
Yes. And as being in a band, every slot has to be filled.
Yes.
So every part is important. And one without, you take that slot away and something's missing.
Yes, you're right.
I mean, you describing what Selena listened to, it basically explains her style.
Yes.
She was known as the Tejano Madonna.
Yeah, they labeled her as
it was
that.
A nickname.
Yeah, and I think the whole Madonna thing was because you remember back in the day, Madonna used to wear the bras and everything, and Selena really loved that look. It was not in Spanish they call it descarada. Like descarada means like shameless. Yeah, like she wasn't shameless about it. She was covered up. She always made sure that it was in a tasteful way.
Yeah. I mean, so was she responsible for all of her outfits? Did she put them all together? Did you have a hand in what she wore? I would tell her,
you look fat in that. Don't wear that. Yes, I was a sister. I was that sister. But Selena had incredible style. Like never had to. I don't know if you ever really pay attention to Selena's look. It's timeless.
Yeah.
She never overdid anything.
Yeah. Yes.
It was just natural. Like she'd go, oh, okay, this and that, and then she never, back in the day, never had a stylist, never had a glam squad.
Wow.
We did our own makeup, our own hair, our own, she didn't have any anybody go buy clothes for her or anything like that. Even up to the point when she passed away.
Wow.
She did her own, never did tell everybody, no, I'm good. I got it. And, but her look was definitely, I always feel, and I've always said, it's timeless. And I think that's a small key ingredient to why she is relevant still
Iconic.
To this day.
That's part of any iconic artist. When you think of certain artists, you connect them with what they wore.
Yeah. From
Prince to MJ to Madonna to Selena, like that's part of the persona.
Right.
Is the clothes. Is it true that the Houston show?
Yes.
Was she putting pins into her
beads?
Yeah, her beads. Yeah, like
yes.
right before the show.
Yes, during the day, after sound check, she was in her dressing room and she was sewing on her beads to her own bra. And the boots that she was wearing, they were white, and she added all the beads hanging down on them.
Wow.
Yeah, she sewed. They were all together on a strip, but she was actually had glued them, hot glued them, I believe, or glued them with I don't know what kind of glue, all on there. And those boots are actually at the museum.
The Astrodome.
The Astrodome.
Yeah, the Astrodome.
It's
yes,
the 90. It's the second year, the 94 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And nobody was there doing it for her. All cool, just talking and we're all hanging out.
She was like a promoter's dream, huh?
Yeah.
Low maintenance. I don't have a rider. Just whatever's there is cool.
No, we didn't have no rider. We didn't
have a rider either?
No rider. No rider, no food. Like my
no
dad
special drinks, no special M&Ms, chips.
Nope. My dad would be like, "Well, whatever you want to get, whatever you want to put." We didn't have that in our rider at all.
You guys,
I wanted it 100%.
Yeah, right.
I was a chubby chick. I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Wow.
But no, it was like we would be fine with whatever.
That's crazy. Shoot,
so Selena did not have a rider.
Well, a rider about food,
like she had a tech rider
certain
for sure.
things.
Yeah.
But she was. Oh no, we never demanded or requested anything. It was like it's like. If the promoter said, "Oh, well, we have a room for you. Do you want anything special?" My dad would be like, "No, not really. We don't really need anything. Just water would be fine, and whatever you want to bring."
Oh, you guys are awesome. Yeah,
and it just stayed that way,
Yeah, our first tour, MC Hammer gave us Kentucky Fried Chicken.
You're like, hell yeah,
and we were happy with that.
Yeah.
We were good with that. Kentucky, a little couple boxes of Kentucky Fried Chicken and some root beer. We was like, all right, yeah, that works. We'll be on in 30.
But you guys were kids too at the time. How old were you?
We were teenagers. We were like 18, 19.
So that was the best. KFC and some Coke?
KFC and some Coke and music. That worked for us. Did she have a vocal warm-up routine or pre-show ritual or anything like that before she went on?
No pre-show ritual. She just kind of did a little bit of runs, just like it was here and there. It wasn't like a consistent, like, okay, give me like 30 minutes. I need to go. And she didn't do all that. No. More of the ritual came after whenever she came off set. The bus AC had to be turned off. Mm-hmm. Kept it warm in there for her. We were dying.
Yeah.
But, because we're hot because we're playing.
Right.
And they wanted it warm in there for her so then she wouldn't get sick.
Yeah, sure.
And so just to kind of cool her body, like to bring her temperature down normally. And then after a good while, then they would turn the ACs back on. But other than that, there was really no diva type or any routine like that.
Yeah.
And, I hear about stuff like that and I'm like, oh, really? Man, we should have done that, But we really didn't. It was just kind of like whatever. Like,
yeah. Well,
and times were so different too back then.
Yeah. Well, even so, like, I mean, again, going back to me and the guys, we would always find like in the dressing rooms, there would always be like bathrooms or something like that. So we sang a cappella a lot. So we would find the acoustics are great there. So we would warm up there and we would harmonize and we would work on certain things to the point where, okay, we're going to try that in the show tonight or something like that. And we would do our scales or there would be moments where we just wanted the room quiet.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes before the show, we would have everybody leave respectfully. Mm-hmm. And the four of us would just sit like around each other.
Get your mind right.
And just not say anything. Just kind of just sit there for a second, hear the crowd build up, and we'll go, okay, cool, let's go.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
that's what I mean as far as like.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. No, it was like, let's go. Okay, hold on, let me get my shoes on.
Right. I mean,
it was more chaotic like that. It was not as. Selena also never really planned what she was going to wear, even if it was a major event. She would just kind of throw some stuff in a suitcase, and then she'd be like, I don't know what I'm going to wear. And then she'll kind of like dig it out, you know what I mean? And be like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm going to wear this.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
and it became a fashion statement.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right. Now, we moved around a lot, like together. Actually, we were coming up around the same time.
Yes,
and we meaning Boyz II Men, and we spent a lot of time in Texas, Corpus Christi, Beaumont, San Antonio. Like we were all over that state, and it's surprising that we've never crossed paths. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because our genre of music was different.
Yeah, but still, like we were kind of a pop group too, in a sense of the festivals that you guys did, the same ones kind of like we did. We did that same Houston performance too.
Oh, the rodeo.
Yeah, the rodeo. Like we did that too. I think it was in I forget what year, but we did it. And I was like, as I was doing the research, I was like, wow, 92, 93, 94. I was like, that was like at our peak.
Yeah.
And
our peak as well.
Exactly. So I was like, why have we never crossed paths? Like we never crossed paths. Like,
never looked at it that way, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, the Houston rodeo had a Tejano day, and so it was always on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So it was never mixed with, other genres of music. They had, back then they used to kind of spread it out differently, but it was always a Sunday. It was called Tejano Sunday, Tejano Rodeo Sunday, something like that. And so it was always on the Sunday. That for sure I do know, and I do remember. And that might have been another reason why. At that time though, like we traveled the last 2 years before everything happened with Sister. We literally were like flying everywhere. Like we flew a lot, which before we never did. Yeah. And then trying to get from one, our tour bus would pick us up, our crew would be there, we'd do gigs, in this area and then take off, it was all set up like that. And but life was kind of crazy the last couple of years before she died. Yeah. It was a lot, and then going to Latin countries.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing we didn't do, at least not starting in our the start of our career. Like we didn't do a lot of that. We released a few albums in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. We
I'm gonna go look for it now.
One of them is El Final del Camino. We released an album called Evolución. Yeah. Yeah. And it was basically the albums we came out with, we went back in and sang them in Spanish.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Now, mind you, we can sing practically any language if you teach us, but I don't speak Spanish. So, like, muy poquito.
Wait, did we just come up with an idea? I know we're constantly remixing some music.
Right.
We get some Boyz II Men action on the Selena record.
No, that'd be dope. I think it'd be dope. I mean,
it would be dope.
Yeah, but it's like I've never, like, just looking at how parallel our careers were, and we've never done a festival, a concert. You know how
at one point we should have crossed paths, but we didn't. Crazy.
That's wild.
Or maybe something in Spanglish,
Yeah. I mean, always in Spanglish. That'd
have been crazy. That'd been crazy. Because I know you guys did some re-releases of some of Selena's unreleased music, right? You and your brother, where I guess it was some old stuff that you guys dusted off and redid, and he had to pitch her voice down a little bit to...
Yeah, the remix of some old stuff. And actually, that's what's going on really right now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Right now, we're in the process of, because, let's see, Entra en mi mundo, which is one of our major hit albums, it hit 33 years. Amor Prohibido just hit 30. And in July, Dreaming of You will be the 30th anniversary of that album.
Right.
Which is insane that 30 years has passed since she's been gone.
Time has flown.
Yeah, it's
time.
crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy and I'm excited about being able to bring our music that we recorded so many years ago to now.
Yeah.
With the technology that we have now, they're able to, I mean, it's so crazy because I was just listening to the mix for Captive Heart. You know, I'd play a little bit of Captive Heart, the remastered mixed version that I just got, and then I'd listen to the old one and I'm like, wow, so night and day.
Yeah, yeah. Technology has lent itself to making music better.
Yeah, and making it sound so new.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can do all kinds of things. The manipulation of sound waves just by putting it on the screen, you could just make it do whatever you want to do. You could change the tempo, the key, and it doesn't sound weird or munchkinish or anything like that.
I know. It's so crazy. And I'm so grateful for it because, I mean, we're in a whole new generation. We're like 2 generations in now of Selena being introduced to the younger generation, that they're embracing her and they're researching her and they're wanting to hear more.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, Shawn, because like, you know, when after she died, and I'm going to go back a little bit, when she died, like, went through this whole thing, right? But at one point, I don't know at what point, but at one point, maybe 10 years in, I really was like, you know what? Before I leave this earth, I want to make sure that nobody forgets my sister. I want to make sure that nobody forgets who we were and what we represented as a whole.
Yeah.
To who we are, Mexican Americans, right? That was, I don't know when that shifted in my brain. So I know now, and I feel confident, and it might sound a little cocky, I don't know, or come off as that, but I am so grateful that I know now that if I die tomorrow, that my sister's legacy will live on. My job, I'm embracing who she was and what we created back then, the labor of it and keeping it here with my family has been done.
Amidst the misfortune, you found your purpose.
Yes. My purpose has always been to be by my family.
Yes.
And to be 100% with them and everything that we've done. Through the years, people tend to, clearly Selena was a star. Clearly AB was the one who created our music. Clearly I play a part in the drummer and everything, but being able to take on this new role that my father introduced me to, that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why me. Like, why can't I be like Abe and Chris and just go play music? But then I don't really want to play with anybody. So what do I do, right, with my life? And he started slowly teaching me the business part of the more important part, actually, of what we do.
Yeah. The sustaining part.
Yes, the sustaining part, and protecting, and protecting it. That's the key word. Protecting this legacy that has been left behind, not just by sister, but by our family and our band, and making sure that it's not taken and twisted and over branded, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And
I want to tell you, Suzette, from working with you, obviously we're friends and I've gotten to know your amazing family over the years, but we initially met through working together.
Yeah.
And I will say that you and your family do an incredible job.
Thank you.
Carrying on the legacy, but in a way that celebrates the legacy. It's not overexposing. I've seen you turn down many, many opportunities because it didn't fit. I remember one particular one. You were like, I'm not putting my sister on underwear. There was a brand collab that was a big brand. I won't say the name, but she was like,
our socks.
Yeah, or socks. She was like, no, my sister's not going to be walked on.
I'm not
and it was a big check, and it didn't fit how she wanted the perception of her sister and the family to be. So just want to give you your flowers. Like Shawn said, this is a show where we show love, and you know, you and obviously your husband sitting right next to me, Bill, and You guys have all done such a great job. Your
Thank
brother, your
you.
father, your mother, amazing
Thank
people.
you. I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's not about like that. We get approached for so many things, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like it's got to make sense. And I always ask myself, would sister like this? Would sister be okay with this?
Right.
What is this going to create? What are the pros and cons of this? And
Yeah.
you know, everything is not about this all the time.
Right.
That comes and goes. It's about the longevity of making sure that sister is not forgotten.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound, I come across by saying that so much, but it matters to me that
your
she's
purpose.
not forgotten.
It's your purpose.
Because she got robbed. Her life got robbed.
Yes.
You know, her life was taken from her, and it's unfair. So I will be her voice for her, and my family will be. And right now, her fans are her voice.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Where were you when you heard the news?
The news?
about your
I
sister?
was at home. I was at home with my husband, and it was in the morning. So you know how us musicians are. You know, that's one thing. You after you stop touring. Well, we were playing at that time. You sleep. You go to bed late, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and then you wake up late. So I had just gotten up, and I was at home, and I got a call from a mutual friend, and her friend worked at the police station, and she called me, and she just told me, "Hey, something happened with your sister. You need to go to the hospital now." And that's all and back then, remember, it wasn't so easy where you could just pick up the phone and, it was just kind of madhouse. But yeah, I was at home.
And your brother and the rest of the family, they were in their respective areas as well? Like
Actually, Shawn, brother and my father were at the studio because she was supposed to come in that morning to record.
I see.
She was recording her English stuff.
I see. I see. Yeah, that and that was around the time where you guys were trying to venture into that realm as far as like creating a whole English album and creating that stuff, because at that point Selena was on fire and it only made sense. Kind of like when we did the Spanish record, from English, like kind of doing the same
thing. Right. Because the plan originally was never to leave our music, Tejano music. Never.
Yeah.
The plan was, we all knew that Selena was going to. First of all, Selena never realized how big she was and that she was a star.
Mm-hmm.
She never saw that. She never did. She just thought, okay, we're going to do this and this is cool, but I'm still going to be with y'all. We're like, I know. You're bigger than that. You're bigger than what we're doing now. The plan was for her to do her English stuff. Our roles would change, and we all knew this.
Yeah.
I was going to my father, the last year and a half, wasn't traveling with us, or 2 years, because he doesn't like to fly.
Okay.
He's scared of flying, basically. And so he wasn't with us as much. And so my role, once Selena went with the English, was to be her manager and to, there. Abe was going to be still producing and helping with that part of the music. Chris, it was kind of iffy about Chris. They talked about, she wanted him to be with her with the English band because he could do that, because that's what he grew up on.
Yeah.
But he wasn't too sure if he wanted to start his own band, like a rock band. And so that was kind of still up in the air. And we kept on reassuring her, we're going to still be there. We're just I'm not going to be directly behind you on a drum set anymore. I'm just going to be on the side.
Right.
The dynamics are not going to change, just a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll still be there.
Yeah.
But Tejano was never something that we were going to leave. And she made sure that she told her fans that she would never actually leave Tejano music and what we did and what we loved.
But I think what you guys understood was the importance of stretching out.
Yes.
Of creating more of an audience to what you're known for and what you're doing and what your roots are.
Yeah. And because because Selena had the ability to be such a badass, she could take on that role.
Yeah.
And, and the little bit that she did leave behind, which I'm forever grateful of, the English stuff that she did for Dreaming of You, I mean, it showcases what could have been.
Well, you pretty much answered the question because I was going to ask you about Dreaming of You and you celebrating the 30th anniversary and all that. I just wanted to know what the energy was, the excitement and
For Dreaming of You?
Yeah, and the whole process of creating, the songs and where did the ideas come from? Where was the inspiration at? Like, what was it when she was driving out in the red Porsche? Like, what was going on? Like,
honestly,
during that time.
Honestly, you're talking about the songs that she was able to record, right?
Yes.
Well, believe it or not, Shawn, you have to ask Abe. Abe, can somebody bring in Abe?
Abe, we need you on the podcast.
We need you ASAP.
Part 2 with Abe.
We'll bring a part 2.
Yeah. So
we'll
around
make
that time frame, I had just gotten married, so I was in my love bubble.
Okay.
And because AB was, the producer of our music, he's the one that really worked with Sister and finding the songs that she wanted to do, which is like Dreaming of You, Captive Heart, and finding the producers and meeting everybody. I kind of just stayed out of that because that wasn't my realm. It had never been.
So no phone calls. Hey sis, listen to this.
No, you mean pagers?
Yeah, that's right. Then you go to the payphone. Right.
Yeah, back then it was that. No, none of that really. I wish in hindsight, clearly, I wish I would have been more of it, but that was never my thing, even from the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, we used to practice, Shawn, and Abe and the band would get it together, and Sister and I would be at the mall shopping or whatever, and then they would call us in when it was time for us to come in.
Yeah.
There was no need to really have us there because we really couldn't contribute. That wasn't our thing.
I see.
Musically.
So you really knew. You really understood your purpose very early on.
Everybody kind of did that. I think that's why our band worked so amazing. Everybody knew what they had to do. Nobody overstepped anybody in our band.
Yeah.
I mean, my band and our band, however you want to put it, they were amazing and they were family.
Yeah.
They weren't blood, but they felt like family. And
family by bond.
I mean, it was just we never fought.
Yeah.
We got along so well. I mean, really loved not only them, but our crew as well. Our road crew was amazing. And they felt like family too.
It's so nice to hear these types of stories because we're so inundated and people are obviously fascinated by the controversies that you hear about singers and artists and bands and all the crazy stuff that goes on. And yes, there's a lot of crazy things that go on, but ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of positive things that go on with certain sects and certain bands too. And it's nice to hear that. It's nice to hear.
Well, I think the reason why we hear about the negative stuff is because that's what sells. Sensationalism sells.
Yeah.
That's what people think that everybody wants to hear. But there is a lot of beauty in I believe like what you've experienced with your group. Mm-hmm. It's just not things like that are never talked about. It's always the bad stuff.
Yeah,
the drama.
Yeah, and it's nasty.
Yeah.
So and one of the reasons why this podcast was created was because I know personally I wanted to be kind of the opposite within the ethos of hearing so many podcasts and seeing so many podcasts about who's doing what to who and this guy shot this guy and this hates this guy and this girl and she slapped him and all that other stuff. I mean, it's a lot of that already going on.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
As a human being, as well as a person in the business, I wanted to help incorporate something where people didn't have to take a shower after they heard it.
Right.
Like you can listen to something and you can glean into someone is insightful and who has an incredible as a life as yours, and to listen to those stories because that enriches people's lives. Like people will be driving to work listening to this. People will be taking care of their kids, getting them ready for school or whatever going on, in their day-to-day lives. And I want them to be able to hear something that means something to them and could actually inspire them throughout the day.
Exactly. And I think that's our response. I feel that that's my response. I'm responsible to be able to do that for the younger generation because I mean, they're the ones who are watching us, and they're picking up on what our vibe is and what we're leaving behind. Yeah. And honestly, the way I look at life right now is exactly how Sister looked at life. She really understood that she was a role model. That's what, I don't know if you know this, but she got so many crazy offers to brand with liquor. Never took it. Never. She's like, no, I don't want to give that type of look to the younger generation. It's important for me. So her thing was always school. So yes, it's about making sure that we are inspiring instead of
That's awesome.
showing drama.
That's awesome. Well, in picking up, or rather carrying on that positive energy, the Selena Foundation.
Yeah.
It does a lot of incredible work for some great causes.
Yes.
You were in partnership one year with the Corpus Christi Police Department called Operation Safe Return.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about that.
So Operation Safe Return is, we partnered with the Corpus Christi Police Department, and it's basically helping buy school supplies for children who cannot afford pencils, paper, notebooks to get to school. We want to make sure that kids show up to school with their school supplies so they don't feel any less or feel embarrassed.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's that we partner with them. We also just recently partnered with St. Jude.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was so incredible.
That's amazing. Tell me more about that too.
St. Jude reached out and they do a shirt that says, "This shirt saves lives."
That's right.
And they wanted to do a collab, and I said, of course, oh my God, if Sister was here, she'd be all about it.
Yeah.
And the image that we created for the back, it's a Sister's known, her favorite flower was the white rose.
Yes.
And so it's a picture of a rose, a nice rose, and then her foundation logo of her, it's like an image of her, is the actual stem of the rose.
Wow.
So that's what's on the back. It's the flower, and then she's like, looks like she's the stem of the rose.
Where can patrons pick up these shirts?
stjude.com.
Okay.
.org. I'm sorry. stjude.org.
Wow.
/ Selena.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And 100% of the proceeds goes to helping kids with cancer.
No, shout out to St. Jude's. We did it was a poker tournament, I think, that was raising money for St. Jude's.
Yeah.
And when I say in about an hour, just 1 hour, I was there, and I think they received like $4 million.
Yeah.
An hour. And it was still going on. We had to leave. So there was still money being donated. And it was like, oh my God. It just shows how impactful St. Jude's has been to so many children and so many parents with children with cancer. And
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I you know, one thing I will share with you that I didn't know about St. Jude. Do you know that they're global?
I didn't know they were global.
I met a beautiful little girl from Ecuador, and they brought her and her mother in. She had cancer. She's only 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
And brought her in. I didn't know they were global.
Wow.
And I was so blown away by that. And just their whole setup is...
It's crazy.
It's so inspiring.
Tight.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm Thursday, tomorrow, I'm going to Sting and Shaggy, right? Is doing something for St. Jude here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that out. And
see, St. Jude's can get Sting.
Just like to drop, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's an ambassador for them.
That's crazy. You know, shout out to St. Jude's.
Yeah.
You guys do amazing work. Now, okay, here's a question. In the midst of Selena doing her thing and probably running into other artists of different genres, did she ever have any dream collabs that she wanted to do? Anybody she wanted to work with? Any artists, groups?
Oh my God, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, she did, babe. Who? Oh my God, I can't. Oh, that's a good one, Shawn. You caught me off guard on that one.
No, I mean, you know, I mean, because as an artist,
drop a couple.
Janet, I don't know if she talked a lot about Janet, but
she was so inspired by Janet. For sure, Lucille Ducal. I mean, she just was like in awe of Lucille. Mm-hmm. But watch, when I leave here, and at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna wake up and go, ping.
Just text Brian the answers, and we'll put them under your face.
I have 2 questions, really. really two questions. Obviously, Selena, the biopic, is a big part of growing and continuing the legacy, right? We've all made our kids watch it a million times as we watch it. Is there something that was left out of the film that you wish was in there?
Of the Selena movie?
Yes. And then I'll give you my part two after.
That's a good question. No, I think, it's just hard. I don't think so.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I would say no.
Because in the biopic, right, there's only an hour and 40 minutes. You have to get everything in there.
You're trying to cram 23 years of your life, of her life, into a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking if there's something that you wish was in there.
Do you know that the only reason that movie was made, we were forced to make the movie.
Why were you forced?
Back then, literally months after she died, our lawyers got word that Hollywood was already going to start making.
You were going to
they
beat
want
them.
to do a movie, and if you don't have control over your own, then it's going to be whatever they want to put in it.
Yeah, right.
So that's the only reason why my father had to make that decision to move forward and just say we're doing this movie. We ended up finding a Gregory Nava to do the direct it and to write the script. It wasn't something that was on our radar at all. Wow. It was way too soon, to be honest with you. It came out literally 2 years after she died. And we got there was criticism over that. They're like, oh my God, it's all about money. And I was like, if people only knew, it's either we do it or they're going to say whatever and make heaven knows, because then you have no control over your own life. Me
understanding you a little bit better as far as your journey within music, like not just outside of it, but within it. And I was intrigued that you being as good of a drummer as you are. I don't know about that, but thank you. That you had to be inspired by other drummers. So I was going to ask you, who were your top 5 drummers?
I can give you one. Okay. My only one that I just was like, Sheila E. Back in the day, she was the only female.
She's so good, and she still be doing her thing.
Drummer ever. I met her. You should have seen me. I was
she's awesome.
So bad.
I was the same way when I met Sheila too.
If I'm not mistaken, she's got a biopic in the works.
Oh,
really?
That's good.
In another group,
she has a very interesting story. I mean, she's seen a lot. Like I've heard her just say tidbits about certain songs that she was on. She's on like Michael Jackson records. That didn't
I know. I saw something.
Yeah.
It's that
playing the bottle.
Yeah. I saw that.
So Sheila's a G. So So Sheila E.
Well, back in the day, there was nobody that was. She was the only that I can think of, and I remember just going like, okay, her.
Yeah.
And then in our genre of music, there was just me.
Right.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because I was like, I just was like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it, because I didn't want to do it.
Ooh, I got a question.
Oh, here we go.
No, what you just said.
He found out. He remembered.
No, what you just said, because if you were the trailblazer for female drummers, have you had other female drummers come up to you and give you props? And who would those be?
Yes. And it makes me feel really, really proud. I'm like, who, me?
Right.
I'm like, wow, thank you very much. Yeah. And I'm very proud of that. That's one thing I will say I'm extremely proud of, that I just, yesterday I met 2 guys that they're like, hey, I learned how to play my roles like you did.
That's sick.
He goes, and I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And 2 guys yesterday went at the event that I went to for Sirius XM. And I was like, wow, really? I normally I get it from females, but not so much males. And
that's
I was
great.
Like, oh, okay, that's dope.
See?
I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Tell you a dope drummer. Like, knock it off, man.
It's been a minute.
This is where we bring the drums in.
Yeah, right. Here they come.
God. Bring them in. I don't know. My arm might fall off.
Okay. If you know this or not, who do you would think would be, you kind of answered it, but let's just kind of solidify it. Who would be Selena's top 5 female artists of all time?
Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, Whitney Houston, Rocio Ducal.
5th one.
Yes.
The 5th one's always the hardest.
There is, it's a girl group, Expose.
Yes. Expose, yes. I believe. Our road guy, his name is John Lopez. His sister was in Expose.
Really?
Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, any jam like that. I mean, that's what we grew up on. And honestly, you don't realize that the influence of what you grow up on and what you listen to vibes into what your music is.
Yes.
You
Permeates.
know, and you vibe it. And I truly know now, because back then we never thought about it, but now I do know. I think that's why our music is so different. And it's not the normal Tejano music. And it's not, I remember when we started being nominated for like awards, they would put us first in regional Mexican. And then that would be 1 year. And then the following year, we wouldn't be in regional Mexican because we're not regional Mexican. They would put us into international. Like, well, what is that?
Right.
And then another category, it would be pop. But we're not pop.
Yeah.
We're not Thalia. You know, we're not Paulina Rubio.
Right.
And it's crazy because you can't classify what really our music is. But I like to just say it's like Tex-Mex / badass.
And that's good. And guess what? That's good enough.
Yeah. I'll take it. And you know what? I'm grateful that we're even still relevant to this day.
Well, good music never dies.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you're right. I still listen to the classics myself. Like, I love old school. I love 80s, 90s.
Yeah, it never dies. It will never die.
I think that was the best time frame of music to be created.
I think so too. Like, I'm a little biased because I grew up in it. But yeah, 80s music, and I would say behind it, because a lot of people would probably slap me for saying this, but even 90s music is second to 80s.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you.
Like 80s music was just, growing up at that time, it was so broad. Because it was the birth of hip hop. It was pop music. MTV was created.
Yeah.
Like it was such a time for music where a black kid like me could watch like what considered white groups and stuff like that. And you realize, yo, this is funky. I would have never heard it. You know, so minds were opened, which segued into 90s music where the first time you heard Walk This Way with Run DMC and a rock group, that made everybody go, yo, the possibilities are endless. So then that spawned groups like Korn and Limp Bizkit and all those other, like, so it was a great time that segued to an even greater time.
Yeah.
Love that.
And the time that we
grew up in.
That we grew up in. So.
And we're doing our thing.
Yeah. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Hi-ho. Did you guys bring me some? I know you got a burrito in your pocket or something. Come on, Suzette.
Hey, I'm going to freeze them and I'm going to send it to you. I promise you I will.
So for those listening, tell them what Hi-ho is.
Hi-ho is
where you took me.
A local family-owned restaurant.
Okay.
In the hood.
Okay.
The best Tex-Mex food.
All the best food is in the hood.
Yeah, I'm talking good. Yeah. I'm saying good stuff.
Okay, so.
And it came out in the movie, so everybody goes there. Any fans that come to visit the Selena Museum, they always like, hey, where's Hi-Ho at? We're like, you better hurry up, but they close at 3:00.
Right, okay.
I mean, it's the best, greasiest Mexican food.
It's the best.
It's just
so
yummy.
Good.
It's
so good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay, all right, so let's say you're in Hi-Ho, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down, you're about to have a nice greasy
Not greasy.
something, whatever, but it's good.
It's good stuff.
And in walks a younger Suzette. She was looking for you.
Damn, you look good.
Yeah, right. She was looking for you.
Okay.
Because she wanted to get some knowledge, some wisdom from you. So she sits down across from you. What would older Suzette tell younger Suzette about life?
Go with the flow more. Go with the flow more. Don't stress about stuff that you cannot change or have control over. That would be my number one. I'm learning that now in life. You know, I guess because of my position of where I'm at in my family and our family business, you know, I stress too much. And also my father, I think it's also like nature of like a Hispanic from a Latina woman, you know, we just take charge all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to let go a little bit more and just be more like okay, be more trusting, I guess, and knowing that the people that are part of my team and that I surround myself have my back. And I know they do, but I just got to be more, let go a little bit more. So that's what I would tell the younger Suzette.
Enough said. And on that note, thank you so much, Suzette.
Oh, this was so fun. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank
this
you
was
for having
amazing. I learned a lot. And just understanding not just what you've been through, but what you continue to uphold. Again, there's a lot of things that happened in your life that I'm sure you would not have favored. But I believe with everything, there's a purpose. And I think within that, you found your purpose. You are a queen mother. You are a matriarch. You are, you are living your reason for living. And I know your sister's proud.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
No, it's true. I know she's proud. I know she's proud. Because being in the business, you tend to hear little things about everybody. Don't matter if you're in the genre or not. And just hearing how you uphold the integrity of your family. Because there's unfortunately, I hate to say, but just researching you and the family and everything and hearing what people say and have to say and all this other stuff. And I got no inkling of guile from you, from your husband. Like, you guys are still solid. You still got 10 toes down and you guys are still good people. You can feel it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
You can feel it and knowing what you do, knowing what you go through, the things that you have to run, just like you said, Q Productions, like all of those things that you're helping to run, you manage it with such an integrity that I know anything that comes out not only is going to have your print on it, but I know that it had thought put into it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going for the bag.
Right.
And it's shown throughout the years.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, just seeing and reading and understanding everything that you've gone through, just like you said, you've upheld her name. And that's the secret sauce. And why
I'm secret sauce, people.
Yeah. and why Selena is still going to be revered as one of the greatest humans of all time. Not just a Mexican American, not just a Tejano artist, but a human.
I agree.
One of the greatest people on the planet because of how you make sure that her story is held up in that manner. So yes, secret sauce,
so
AKA secret sauce.
I'm going to get a shirt that says AKA secret sauce.
Yes, secret sauce right here. Ladies and gentlemen, get up for secret sauce.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, and that was on that note. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, here's a couple more videos for you to check out. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.